Hey guys, I'm Marianna Hewitt from Maximo TV. We're here in Hollywood at the premiere of Think Like a Man. We're going to talk to all the stars of the film tonight to see what they have to say about love, relationships, and if ladies should really think like men.
My character is Maya, and she's kind of the girl who makes all the bad decisions in the beginning and is trying to learn from those mistakes and better herself and not get played so much, pretty much.
How are you in your dating life compared to who the person is in the movie?
You know, I'm not as naive as the character, which there's nothing wrong with. It's all life lessons, but I'm definitely as optimistic as she is rather. I like to think the positive. I like to believe that positive things can come out of any situation. So.
What dating advice would you give to single girls?
I would definitely tell girls, keep God first and value yourself. And then one of the things I learned from the movie was keep your cookies in the cookie jar. Make them work.
What did you learn about relationships from the movie?
I learned a lot. I learned that, regardless of how independent and strong a man wants to be, you need a woman. Regardless of how much you say it's me, and I. End of the day, you need that support. You need that other half, and on your darkest days, that other half is the one that's with you. So it takes a while to figure out who that other half is or how that other half and you are going to function. But the reality of it is, when you find it, it works. It gels. When it gels, you know it gels. So right now, I'm in a good situation. I'm happy.
What's your character like in this movie, and are you similar to him in real life?
Actually, I am. My character recently went through a divorce. I recently went through a divorce, and because of the divorce, my character is somewhat of he's a relationship hater. I don't want to see my friends happy. I don't want to see my friends in relationships. So being that I don't want that and I see my friends get that, it makes me think about what I once had. And in a movie, I basically want to get what I had back, which is pretty decent.
What advice would you give to women? Do you really think they should think like a man or should be a lady?
Every woman should always be a lady, but always know what your man is thinking. It's the woman's job to be 2 steps ahead of us, so as long as you're playing chess and not checkers, everything will be okay.
My character in the movie is a pessimist. She's the one who's not buying into the whole book and using this book in your relationship. So it's not too much like how I really am, but sometimes I do take a little convincing. I don't necessarily do what everyone else is doing, so I would say those are the similarities there.
And how's married life, and what advice would you give to women who are trying to think like a man or get a man?
I think it's always great to have your own thing going on, and even if it's not like a full-fledged career, whether it's a hobby or something, I think men appreciate a woman who does something and has something going on, so that's definitely advice. And when you are in a relationship, communication, is best. You definitely want to have communication, and us ladies, we get so emotional, we tend to trip out sometimes. I'm guilty of it too, but try to keep it under control.
And then in the last year or two, your style has evolved so much, and you look so great. What are some of your favorite designers, or what do you like a lot?
I love Zach Posen. I'm wearing Fendi tonight. I love Fendi, Dolce & Gabbana. But I also, mix and match things. So I'll go to H&M or Zara and put something great. I've just been less afraid to take risks and, know that sometimes everyone might not love what I wear, but as long as I feel comfortable in it, that's what matters.
I think sense of humor-wise, between me and the character, definitely some similarities, and I don't know, I'd like to think I'm a little more mature than the character was. Sometimes I'm not, but there's a few. I think you got to kind of always find what the similarities are. I think with any character, there's always a little bit of yourself in it. Even if you're playing a total, complete departure, there's a little bit.
And is there anything that you learned about relationships from being in this movie?
Yeah, have your stuff together. But I also learned that their relationships are very, very hard and require a lot of maintenance, but at some point you get to a point where it doesn't feel like maintenance. It's just natural, and that's, I think, what everyone is trying to get to. But they're tough.
And what can you tell a woman who's trying to date or keep a man? Do you think that she should think like a man, or do you think she should be a lady?
Look, I think early on, because there's always a little gamesmanship, strategy-wise, it can't hurt to maybe for a woman try to think like a man, but look, deep down, I don't think any man wants a woman to think like a man. We like the way women think. Don't change that. It's worked for a long time. you know, babies are being born everywhere. Like, let's not fracture it too much.
People keep saying you got to think like a man, which I think people are using sort of interchangeably with having common sense. I think everyone needs to have common sense, which, you know, men as well as women. But yeah, that goes a lot farther than any tricks or, you know, any gimmicks that I could come up with right now. I learned, I definitely saw myself reflected on screen a little bit more than I would have liked. And I definitely saw a lot of men that I've dated or been with over the years reflected on screen. And I wish I would have seen that movie a lot earlier.
What's your character like in the movie?
She is playing opposite Romany Malco, and she's, you know, excited to see him when he arrives at her door, and that feeling does not stick around for long. Yeah.
How is your character in the movie like your romance life in real life? Or are you similar to your character?
Well, I mean, I've got a short but sweet part, and let's just say she's a little sarcastic, and I am definitely described as sarcastic, very dry sense of humor.
When I date women, I abstain from sex. I'm like, if I meet a woman, I'm attracted to her, I'm not giving it up. I'm like the woman, and literally, when I say not giving it up, I ain't talking 90 days, I'd be like 6, 7, 8 months, a year, I hold out. And I really do. Because, you know, I don't know. It's just, I've had enough times in my life where I've been like, you know what? This isn't going to work out. Saying that to a woman after you slept with her, it makes you feel like garbage. So usually, I feel better just not having any of that. Yeah.
What relationship advice would you give to a woman? Do you think they should think like a man, or do you think they should be a lady?
Well, it's both. You should understand the way that a man thinks, and you should also act like a lady. And what I mean by act like a lady is that men, we're built differently. So we can have casual sex, and not that it doesn't have an emotional toll on us, and not that we can't catch diseases, but it's different for a woman. I'm not gonna get pregnant. I don't care who I sleep with, I'm not getting pregnant. A woman can. And you know, it can be, you know, it can have a huge toll on the outcome of the rest of their lives. Also, I feel as though a lot of times women will sleep with a man expecting a certain result. That's not how you get a man. So what I would say is, when I meet a woman, one of the first things I want to know is, how your parents meet? She says, I don't know. That bothers me. I think that you should know the history of the people you love, including the man you're with. If you know the history of the man you're with, then maybe you can understand what his primary love language is. Maybe he didn't grow up with a nurturing mom. So as a result of that, you would know he needs a woman who's more nurturing, who's caring. Maybe he grew up in a household where people weren't allowed to have opinions. So you know he's a man who needs to be heard. Know the history of the man you're with. It will help you better in your relationship. That's what I believe.
My part is about basketball and giving Kevin Hart a whole lot of time and love and blocking his shot. But I think overall, I think men and women can always learn from each other, and this is just a great opportunity to take steps towards that learning process.
And what was it like playing basketball with Kevin Hart in the movie?
Oh my God, it was so much fun. He's just like a little bitty Smurf, like a little M&M, you know. He's just so tiny, you want to eat him. No, I had a good time. We had a lot of laughs, and he can really shoot some hoops. So he's small, but he can make buckets. So he was quick. I had to block a shot a few times, you know.
I say act like yourself, be who the hell you are, but just understand that there are certain aspects of strength that are necessary when dealing with men, especially modern men. You know, so just don't wear your heart on your sleeve the way that most women tend to. Don't do that, because you never want to show all your cards. It's a poker game, you know. You want to keep your poker face, make sure that your cards are not shown, and should that person prove themselves worthy, that's when you show your cards.